Hello guys, welcome to today's edition of our graphic design classes with Adobe Photoshop. If you are new here, you are welcome, and we will urge you to watch our previous videos on how to get Adobe Photoshop installed on your computer and how to get started with Adobe Photoshop. In today's classes, you'll be looking at the various paper sizes in Adobe Photoshop, how to create your new document, or how to get a required paper size for your project. Back in the days or back in our journey to learn how to draw and those things, we have something called drawing book. It's just a similar thing in Adobe Photoshop, just that these drawing books are of different sizes. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, when you get to Adobe Photoshop, the various paper sizes are being displayed. We have the A, B, and C paper types which are used. It's normal. We have the A, B, and C paper types. Before you can draw anything, you can design anything, you can color anything, you need a drawing book or you need any paper before you can implement that work on it. So how do you then get your drawing book or any document to start your design? What is the size of document do you need to start the design? Has any client given you any work that you need a particular size for? That is the most important aspect. So that is why we have the A, B, and C paper types. So in Photoshop, the A, B, and C paper types are being listed in so many ways. We have the A being from A4, A5, A6, A3. That is it. And then if you get to the C paper sizes, they will give you something like the C4, C5, and C6. If you get to B, they can give you B4, B5 in that order. Not all the paper sizes are being listed. Because if you take the A paper sizes, it started from A0 to A10. If you take B paper sizes, the B paper sizes you also start from B0 to B10. And then same thing to C paper sizes. So Photoshop has helped us a lot. Listed all the paper sizes, but not all of them. He has given us some precepts of different paper sizes there, but all of them fall within the A, B, and C paper sizes. So if you have anything to do and then you don't find it within the ranges Photoshop has given to you, doesn't mean that you cannot work with Adobe Photoshop. No. So how do we then get any preferred paper sizes? So when you open Photoshop, at our home page, I will not talk about why you see all these things here. I believe those who watch how to get started with Adobe Photoshop will understand why we are having all these documents here. So when you get to the home page, we have create new. It means that we want to create a new drawing book or a new paper size or a new document for our project. Now, if you click on create new, what you will see is it will give you just a pop-up menu for various paper sizes. So the first thing you will see is we have recent. So under the recent, what I have here is costume. So it means that this particular paper sizes are not found within the A, B, and C paper sizes. I use them for different projects. So the recent here means that I have used these particular sizes for a different project. So that is why you see them here. I have used this size 45 by 58 inches, 46.5 by 60, 32 by 42. I have used them for different projects. That is why it's displayed as a recent. Okay, so if you open your Photoshop and you don't see anything like recent, it means that maybe you have not worked on any project yet. That is why maybe you may see only one there and it's okay, which may be default Photoshop size. That is it. So this particular paper size, maybe if I get any new project and the size falls within this costume sizes, I don't have to worry myself and then retype it again. I will just click on it, then I'll hit on create to create the new document or that new drawing book. So let's move to a photo. So when you get to photo here simply means our photo paper sizes, our normal photo paper sizes. When you take your photo album, the particular photo size we normally use in our photo albums are the 7 by 5 inches and then 6 by 4 inches. So when you take any big photo album, you can arrange like 4 of your pictures in one page. So those are the photo paper sizes we are talking about. So the photo here simply means our normal photo paper size, our passport pictures and other things. So the first one is default Photoshop size, which is 7 by 5. So if you click on it, now move to this side. The size will be displayed here. We have width being 7, height being 5, and the resolution is 300. Now when you get to the unit here, I change it. I set it to inches because most of the project I work on, sometimes we do print them, and then when you get to the printing media, they will tell you that they have to set it to inches before their large format and other things can print them. So I always like to set my measurement unit to inches. It doesn't mean that if yours is at centimeters you get anything wrong. No, everything is still in order. So if you click on default Photoshop size, you have something like 7 being the width and then 5 being the height. And with this orientation, you can change it. Yes, you can change it. So if you want to change it to landscape format, this is already at landscape. That is why our width is 7 and our height is being small. If I want the orientation to be portrait, I'll just click on this thing and then it will change it for me. Look, one click, here becomes 5 and then the height becomes 7. So at the photo papers, you can have various paper sizes in photos ranging. If you want 6 by 4 inches photo size, this particular size, what I've seen is if you get to any print media and you want to take a passport picture, they normally use the 6 by 4 inches. They will arrange 4 of them on it. It's just a small size. So when you click on it and maybe you want to design something with that particular paper size, just one click, the size will be displayed here. If inches is not showing and you really like to set your unit to inches, click inside. Maybe centimeters is there, millimeters is there. You want centimeters, click on it. And then this paper size here is 6 by 4 inches, but right now it's being displayed in centimeters. So you see it as 15.24 by 10.16. That is the size. This 4 by 6, that is it in centimeters. So you can also try it. So if you want to create this particular 6 by 4 inches in centimeters, it's normal. If you set it to inches, it's the same size that will appear on your canvas. Now let's create this 6 by 4 inches and then you see what is going to appear. You could see landscape. So already the orientation is set to landscape. This same 6 by 4, you have the portrait here being 4 by 6. So the pronunciation and the mention of the paper size is very important. If you are saying 6 by 4, what you mean is that you want the width to be 6 and the height to be 4. So in most cases, a client will call you and say, please, I want you to design something for me. It's 4 by 5. It's 4 by 5. Maybe that's portrait format the person is talking about. So your 4 being small and then your height being the bigger figure you have here. So this one is landscape. We have 6 by 4. Meaning our width is 6 and then our height is being 4. So if you hit on create, this is what we're going to have. This is the paper size. It's being displayed 6 by 4. You can reduce it by holding Alt and then you are screw on your mouse. Just hold the Alt or Command, then you screw your mouse gently. You screw to open, then you screw to close. That is it. So let's get back. Click home and then create a new paper size again. Let's check the various paper sizes. Now, under the photo paper sizes, you can use any of them for your project. You can use any of them. If it is landscape and you want to set it to portrait, just click on the orientation. It will help you to set it to portrait. Now let's move to print. Now on the print tab here, this is where most of our projects are being done. And under the print tab, almost all the paper sizes that are basically and widely used for printing services are being displayed. Now the first 3 you see here is the North American paper type. That is the letter, legal, and the tabloid. Is mostly at times used at the North American. But if you come to the A4, A6, A5 and the others, so these are the A series of the papers I was talking about. You could see A4, A6, A5, A3, then start from B5, B4, B3 to C4, C5 C6. So these are the A, B, and C paper types I was talking about. So if you take A, the A paper size ranges from A0 to A10. The same way, if you take B, that one to ranges from B0 to B10. The same thing applies to C. But here, Photoshop gave us the precept of A4 to A3. So we have A4, A6, A5, and A3. This is not all the A series papers we have. So in case you want to design anything that is out of this particular range, it doesn't mean that you cannot have it. No, you can create a custom paper size. That is one aspect. So if I click on A4, the size will be displayed here. Look, the unit changed. So you can set it back to inches. But in millimeters, this is how the A4 size is being displayed. So if you click on the dimension distance, just set it to inches. Now A4 in inches is 8.268 by 11.693. You can change the orientation from portrait to landscape. If you click here, it means that your A4 sheet is going to be in landscape order. If you click here, it's going to be in portrait order. We have the A6 and the A5. The A5 here is half of A4. So, and the A4 here is just our normal A4 papers you see. Somebody will ask you, please, I want to buy A4 paper. That's it. Or your normal A4 sheet. That's it. So the A5 here is half of A4. Provided a client give you a work and the client said, please, I want you to design a product label for me, but I want it to be half of A4. You do not have to worry yourself to go and pick a tape measure or any other thing to measure half of A4. No. A5 simply means half of A4. So if you click on A5, that one to the dimension, the unit is set to millimeters. You can change it to inches. So this is half of A4. And if you get to A6, A6 is also half of A5. So maybe after the person will say, I need it in different size. I want the smaller and the small, and then in that order. That is it. So the A6 here is also the half of A5. So that one too, you can create and then work on it. The A3, we have A3 being biggest. What we have here from A4, A6, A5 to A3. The A3 in the A series is the biggest of the paper sizes we see in the A series here. A4 here is also half of A3. A3 is bigger than A4. So if you click on A3 and then you check the size, you realize that that one is 11 by 16. That size is bigger than the A4, A6 and the others. Now we have the B series papers. If you want to create any documents within the B series, you can use them. Yes. You have the B4, which is between the ranges of A4 and then the A3. A4 and then the A3. That's the size. The size ranges between the A4 and the A3. If you check the B5, that one to the size ranges between the A4 and the A5. That is how that one too is structured. And then our C's for envelope purposes and other things. So that is how the paper sizes are being listed in Adobe Photoshop. Photoshop has summarized the paper sizes for us. But bear with me, most of the times a client will give you a work. For instance, our billboard designs. You can meet a great contract like billboard design. You know, most of the billboards are giant ones. So if you have a giant billboard like this, and the size you are supposed to use is not found in A, B, and C series, what do you do? Does it mean that we cannot design it? Maybe the size is about 30 feet by 20 feet. How do you do it? If you check my unit, I don't have feet here. I have centimeters, pesos, and others. I don't have feet. So does it mean that Photoshop cannot help me to design it? No. You can create the costume size. Whatever paper size is selected here, don't worry yourself. Just double click inside to select and then create any costume size you want. Maybe that particular billboard, the size alone, the width is like 30 feet and then the height is like 20 feet. And we don't have feet. We already have inches here. So the basic and the best way to get this thing, listen carefully, is that you can't dodge mathematics. Mathematics are everywhere. You have to do what we call conversion. So this simple conversion you do is 12 inches is equal to 1 feet. 12 inches on our rulers is equal to 1 feet. So if 12 inches is equal to 1 feet and you want to design something that is in feet and you don't have a unit here called feet, what you do is that you multiply it. If it is 3 feet, you multiply 3 by 12, which you get like 36, and that will be 36 inches. If it is 5 feet, you multiply 5 by 12, which will be 60, and that will be 60 inches for here. So at the end of it, you get your inches here, and it will be simple as that. So once you get it, you don't have to worry yourself enough. So what you do is you hit on create, then you move further to create the document. It's simple as that.